Hey guys, it's Joe here. Just a video. I'm doing chapters or clips, videos of the installation of the LilB's bumper for the third gen Tundra. So currently we've already removed the grill. I can do another video on that. It's not too bad actually to do that. There's going to be some clips that screws that go here in the fender well, and then you pull the fender flare off if you want to do that. I'm doing that because I'm going to have to cut that eventually. There's like a little clip back here that you push the fender front clip away from, and then you pull it out, and it basically just unsnaps around. And then once you take off some bolts that are usually like right here, there's like little retention clips right here, and then the lights. Once you do that to both sides, you're gonna see that that can pop off right there. And then rinse and repeat on the right side as you did on the left. There's some of the wiring that I did for the TRD Pro light. I had to make the harnesses for that. But what I want to get at on this one, this is the crash bar. This is the step that we're at right now, installing the LilB's bumper. Since we removed the front clip, you have two 17mm bolts right there. And then up underneath, you're going to have two 14s. So once you remove those, you're going to see the same thing on both sides. Once you remove these, then the crash bar just kind of slides out. If it gets a little bit stuck, there's small little retention washers that looks like it's built onto the crash bar, and you can kind of see it here in just 1 second. So these sometimes get stuck within that, so just kind of just know that. And then if you doesn't want to just slide out, just know that it's possibly stuck, and just kind of you know, wiggle it up underneath, and then you should be good to go. Okay. Alright, so this is a chapter on removing the crash bar. Alright guys, now we're here at the bumper. We have removed it from the vehicle, as you can see. And currently now what we're going to do is I'm just going to point out the clips that need to be taken off, or just released temporarily. So if you look right here, you're going to have those two right here. And then right here you have the sensor, so you want to loosen up your sensor, take that off. Another clip that would go right here. And then the other clips, there would be one right here. And of course you have, like, this is the connection for your fog light. And then you have your other sensor, so you want to loosen all that up and then just basically move it up out of the way. Because the next step we're going to be making cuts here, and then a cut. This is the back side of it where you're going to actually start making the cut and following the line of the previous bumper. We're also going to be removing the sensors. So you'll see on Brian from LilB, his website, his instructions have like a picture of a knife, basically just kind of prying those out, and he provides the 3M pads within the kit, which is awesome. So that's a huge plus. That way it makes it easy for reinstallation of the sensors. And so here on the left side we did the same thing. Basically we just moved all the sections because we're going to be making the cuts back here. We're going to be retaining the pieces going up, and then over here is the back side of the left side. So again, this is what it looks like. Alright, and we're going to be doing some other changes to the brackets right here. Brian provided a bracket that supports the front grille after he makes some cuts here. So again, this is just basically the sensors and wiring, moving it out of the place chapter. Alright, thanks. Okay, we're back. This is the section where we're going to actually make our first cut, and it's going to be right here. Be right just under these screws. We're only going to do the backing. We're not going to actually cut the grill, so we got to be careful of that. One little extra step that I've thought to do is there's going to be this screw right here. Remove this one. It's a retaining screw for the lower portion of the mustache trim, whatever you want to call it. And then if you notice right here, the upper trim overlaps. So you want to make sure that you don't do any cutting on your trim piece. So what I'm getting at is, in order to make it a little bit easier, is we're going to loosen this top piece up, the top trim. We're going to take these two screws out, Then you're going to see clips. Let me move the wire out of the way. There's going to be a clip here. There's going to be another clip here for the chrome piece. And then this clip here. Basically all we're doing is loosening it up and dropping it down a little bit so it gives us access to pull out this lower trim and then have access to this without jeopardizing any cutting of the materials and stuff, okay? So just a little extra step, but it's going to make a huge difference, I think, in the end, you know, quality over quantity. All right? All right, so took a little bit of extra precaution. What I did is remove the lower portion of the chrome trim piece from the bottom. Even though we're not going to need it, I just wanted to remove it because I like to retain things just in case of maybe someone else could use it, things like that. There's no sense destroying something that could be utilized somewhere else or, you know, down the road. So anyways, what I did, friend James had an awesome idea. Basically, so that way we're not going to cut into the grill. We just kind of separated the tabs here and here, and what that did is allowed the grill to drop down a little bit, put like an extension in it just to keep that gap. Then now this is the point of no return. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cut this section right here. It's going to go just above that raised area where you see the just above my finger. So it's not down here. This is a no-go. This is up top. We're going to cut right along up top all the way across, and then it's going to go into the back side right there. And once that happens on both sides, and we release the clips and stuff down to the bottom, the whole bottom portion will fall off. Okay? Alright, so that's it for this chapter. This is the cutting. Your first cut, point of no return. Alright. Alright, here we go. Using precautions, we got gloves, just so you know, make sure your hands are safe. And then we've started it slowly with the hacksaw. And then just basically going down. Just take your time, get your lines. I mean, I'm like super OCD with making sure the lines are good to go. And that's all I'm going to show you because I'm going to pay attention from that point forward. All right, thanks. All right, and here's the finished product after cutting it. So again, this is the cut you want to do. You want to make sure that you're not cutting into the grill. All right. So you want to make sure that your cuts are nice and clean. All right. Remember, quality over quantity. All right, take your time. All right, guys, this is a stage where we are basically ready to remove the bottom section. We've already made our cuts on both sides. As you can see, nice and clean. Take your time. All right, and so when you remove the bottom clip, there you've got the air dam bolts here, 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom. Then you have the bottom clip. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It wants to jump back in there. So if you're doing it by yourself kind of thing or need some help, what we've done is just go ahead and just remove 3 more screws. And then you can just basically take the air dam off, set it aside, pull the bottom out. And then after you do that, unclip those. Yeah, just to definitely make sure we unclip those. And then when we do that, then the whole bottom clip is going to be accessible. And it just makes it a little bit easier to work with. One smaller step for the bigger picture. Alrighty? Thank you. Alright guys, we're back again. This is the very last part before we actually remove the full bottom section of the bumper. One thing that when you're cutting into this midsection, if you have like a TRD Pro digital camo valence, like the bumper accent on the front, or any piece that you want to save on the back side, it'd be better to remove that first on the back side, so that way when you're cutting through, you don't cut that. And if you want to retain that, again, you know, if you don't care, you're just going to throw stuff away, you know, that's your prerogative. But at the same time, try to save things. You know, again, it's always going to be, in my book, quality over quantity. You know, just take those little extra steps and it'll go a long way. Okay, so we utilize the DeWalt oscillating tool, not sponsored, by the way. And also you know, what we did is did a cut right here. Brought it over here, and once that's cut, just take your time. You're gonna see it's gonna come just below that. And then once that's removed, you're gonna have that portion, and then you just unclick the tabs, and then it'll totally break free. And then that is it. Then you'll be left with this section right here. And moving on. Alright guys, we're at the part where we're going to cut the midsection. There is a brace that was provided by Brian for this section. It's going to go on, it's going to help support the grill. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cut straight down here. We're going to go across, we're going to come to this lip, and then just below the lip we're going to follow this all the way across. So this is going to be your marker right here, this little tab section, just on the outside of that. Get about 1/8 of an inch or so. You're going to come down to the bottom, and then you're actually going to go all the way across. Keep going all the way across. You're going to go across the tall tower. I referenced Lord of the Rings there, the 2 towers. And then you're going to keep going all the way across. And once you get to this tab here, you're going to come just on the outside of this tab. So again, you want to do about 1/8 of an inch on the outside, come down just below that lip, and come all the way across. All the way across. And again, back up. 1/8 of an inch on the right hand side and come all the way up. And there's going to be a section, and once you do that, you're going to hold on to that, and that's going to be utilized a little bit later on. Okay, so that is the middle cut section. Alright guys, here we have the grill. After we've already cut the sides and everything else, this is actually the air dam, and going to reinstall the air dam, give it more support, and the bracket that's actually on the back side will push up against this area and give the grill stability. Okay, we're currently at the spot where now we have our front bumper corners, and we're going to make a cut. What I've done is tape it off at the bottom, and I'm just going to follow the line. I'm just going to go straight across all the way, follow it, and then this piece is going to be removed and the top piece is going to be retained, and that way we can attach it to the bumper after that. So currently this is where we're at. Alright guys, here we have the grill. After we've already cut the sides and everything else, this is actually the air dam, and going to reinstall the air dam, give it more support, and the bracket that's actually on the back side will push up against this area and give the grill stability. Okay, we're currently at the spot where now we have our front bumper corners, and we're going to make a cut. What I've done is tape it off at the bottom, and I'm just going to follow the line. I'm just going to go straight across all the way, follow it, and then this piece is going to be removed and the top piece is going to be retained, and that way we can attach it to the bumper after that. So currently this is where we're at. Alright guys, we're back now. Just finished cutting. So it's kind of a little hard to record and cut simultaneously. However, you know, if you just take your time, you know, as you're going across, just a little tip I noticed. This is actually my first time cutting, so with this tool or anything like that. So anyways, just make sure that when you're cutting, that if you tilt this way, you're going to dig in, or if you tilt up, you're going to dig up into your finish. So just make sure you have a straight line and you're going across. Take your time. The tool basically does the work for you, and as you go across, then you should be good to go. Following the tape actually made a huge difference, and as you can see, I think the lines came out very, very well done. And yeah, so on to the next step. Alright guys, reinstalled the sensors. So if you see, I actually put the sensors back up under there using supplied double-sided 3M tape. Alright guys, I got the grill reinstalled to the truck. So pretty much that's bolted back up top. Yeah, same way you take it on and put it back on, all it, just clips in. Pretty much all it is right now. There's only half of it there. So all the sensor cables, different things like that are hanging down. I have a brace that's gonna go behind there to give support to the grill. And that is the grill installed currently. Alright guys, we're back. We've got the bumper on. This is the current look. Pretty sick. So you look underneath here. Once you get the bolts, or I'm sorry, the bumper on the truck, you can actually use a jack to kind of hold it in place, or if you have hands to help. The back there, that you're looking at, the cross bolt right there is the very long one. And up top, you've got there should be 8 in total. You'll see they'll go right here, 2 up top, and there's 2 that are on the inside as well, which is where the bolt is right here. So it's coming through the inside, and then you have to put the bolt going up with the nut on top, so that way there's room on the back side of that bumper area. And the stock bolts, you can see what I'm talking about as far as the bolts I just mentioned, and the stock bolts actually still can go in the bottom area right there, you know, so you can use those once again. And again, here's the other side, stock bolts, 2 bolts up top, 2 bolts going upward, and then the cross bolt. Okay. Alright, so that's how that's placed in there. Pretty straightforward on that. Even though there's no instructions as far as where they go, you kind of figure it out after a minute. You know, the big ones go in the back and the 8 go in the front to hold it in place. And then the bumper here, I'm sorry, the grill is a little loose still. Still have to put that back brace on it. Once I do that, then it'll be nice and tight. So it's going to be this brace right here is going to go on the back side in the factory spot, and that's going to keep it still from wobbling around. And then down here, what I'm going to do is they sell like the little molding that goes on the edge. So I'm going to put that on the edge there, and then later on I'm going to line up my fender flares, line those out, and make the cuts on those as well. So it's going to be the TRD fender flares. I'm going to have to move the marker lights, do a little bodying on that, a little modding on that in order to get those in place. So special shout out to my son. Thanks, Christian. What up? Okay, so what I've done is I've loosened up the bolts on the fender flares. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take off the fender flare and show you the point where you start pulling off the clip. I've already removed the fender flare on the other side, so you'll get a clear picture of that once we get over there. But just make sure when you're pulling them off, you know, just take your time. No need to beat it up or anything like that. Sometimes the clips will get stuck in the fender. That's okay, we can pull them out from the back side. What I wanted to show you here is on the front clip, this little portion right here is what you're going to move back the felt and kind of pull out just past that. And once you do that, it'll pop. And that'll be that portion to get it going. And you'll see it'll kind of move around here. I've already loosened up the bolts right here, and here. And like I said, I removed that. These clips, you can get these clips on Amazon, which I could put a link in the description. And that way you can do that. So again, we're going to pull this out right here. Clear that little spot. Take your time. It'll come free. So the other part is you want to make sure that if you've already got this installed, Brian gave you a kind of like a Y brace. You can kind of see it through there. And what I did is I had an extension on my ratchet to where it's I think it's like a 10-inch extension with a 10mm tip to it, and it goes right through the front of the grill right into that bolt. Here's kind of a better picture of the bolts there. Same place where the originals were when you installed it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and remove that portion and get ready to take the bumper, I'm sorry, the front clip off the grill. Okay guys, we're at the section where we're fixing some of the stuff on the front. I have all the disconnects for the grill already done. So before I had mentioned that I was going to install the winch when I had the bumper off. However, I didn't have this worn Zeon 10S at the time. So actually I wanted to see if it would I could install it without taking the bumper off, save a little time. And actually you can. If you remove the bracket right here, let it hang, and then if you take the winch and actually the head of the winch right here, and if you tilt it inward and just go down with it and just take your time and then just rotate it, it'll fit right in. Of course right now it's sitting on the bottom of the bumper. It's going to be leaning back to where the face of it, the front of it, is going to be facing up, and the bottom of the winch is going to be installed and connected to the front end of the LilB's bumper. So I'm going to work on doing that right now, and then I'll come back to that after I get it installed. So it's going to be a little difficult to do it, some videoing, but essentially what I'm going to do is tilt it back, connect it, and then come back to you. Alright, thank you. Hey guys, I'm at the part where I got the winch out and I'm about to put in the bolts to get ready for mounting after test fitting it within the bumper. So I just want to cover something really quick. So Brian actually explicitly says to ensure not to mix the bolts with most of the winch manufacturers because the bolts could be either metric or standard. Most of the time they'll be metric worn, provided their hardware is standard. So that being said, another thing that popped up was the square nuts that go within the winch did not fit, only on the left side here. So as you can see, it doesn't go in all the way, and as a result of that, the bolt holes do not line up, and so we're not going to be able to use that. It looks like on the inside it's tapered. I don't know if that could be seen or not, but you know, it looks like it's tapered a little bit to where the bolt won't go on the way in, or I'm sorry, the nut that Brian provided. So if you use the one that Warren provides, you know, it slides right in. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that since it is SAE standard, and the bolts that Brian provides, the hardware is standard, so they match up no problem. Alrighty, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. Alright, thank you. Okay guys, I've got the winch installed on the bumper. Again, when you're placing it inside, basically turn it upside down, take your time, and you're going to put the top of the head in first and then spin it up into place. And what I did, I was thinking of a way to how can I wedge this up, and as soon as I thought wedge, I've got the blocks, tire blocks that I have, picked those up from Harbor Freight a long time ago. But anyways, the rubber nice and sturdy and strong, so I put it behind it, and sure enough, it lifted it right up and put it exactly where I needed it to go for the holes. So I was able to do it that way, and it just pops out, and either drop it down and grab it, or you can just pull it through the top if you want, just like that. So here's the block, just wedged up. Kind of one of those things that try to think outside the box if you're doing something by yourself, but you know, most importantly, just make sure that you're being safe and you're not damaging any of the equipment that you're trying to install. Alrighty, so there you go, winch install after the bumper and the grill removed, and that's on a Warren Zeon 10S. So winches could vary. And also key points, remember, do not mix the hardware unless that you're able to. It's SAE. Brian says not to. However, in this case, I had to mix it in order to get those bolts in there to retain the winch to the bumper. Okay, but everything hooked up perfectly, not worried about it, should be good to go. And there you have it.